Good morning. God bless you. The God in me salutes the God in you. And this morning I want to talk about the blindfolds we wear, that proverbial double-sided mirror I like to call the blindfolds, the double-sided mirror. And a lot of times we find that we wear blindfolds, not in the physical sense, but in the mental and emotional sense. And the blindfolds, a lot of times we believe, is to hide some things from ourselves. True. But we're not hiding our understanding and beliefs, but we're hiding the fact that we don't know. Because when you're blindfolded, you're groping through life. You're going by what you feel and what you sense. And it can be intimidating. It can be fearful. It can be hurting. It can be something that is just unsettling. And a lot of times we find that people wear blindfolds, these false facades, not because we are trying to hide or not look at something. The blindfold is not there because we don't want to see this and we don't want to see that. The blindfold is to fool those who are watching us into believing that we know. Because if you see someone walking with a blindfold across a tightrope, across the road, even those who are physically blind, you may see them and you are just going to be so enamored with how they are able to walk through life, not completely seeing things, but they know, and it just looks cool to a lot of people. But when you look at it from another space, figuratively, mentally, emotionally, that blindfold that we wear is the blindfold so that we hide the fact that we don't know. That person who's wearing that blindfold, you don't see that fear. You don't see the lack of courage. You don't see that anxiety and that anticipation of every next step. You don't see that. However, we do see that in life with a lot of people. There is an artist right now that a lot of people are talking about. And I know for me, looking at the situation, it could be she is just this wild woman who's out here doing this, doing that, doing this, doing that. And we're focusing on her, but we're not looking at the blindfold. Not that he's trying to put on us, but that he's put on himself. Because that blindfold is the fact that he does not know what the future holds. He does not know. He doesn't know what he's going to do. He doesn't know where he's going. He doesn't know where his career is going. He doesn't know who's going to be there. Because if we look at the story as we watched it unfold, mama left to go with somebody else. The first baby mama left to go with somebody else. And now this baby mama is going to leave. Not just because of the child. However, her career is jumping. Her career is taking off. That leaves him in a space that is unsettling. So the blindfold that he's put on himself is the persona that I'm just this hood, bad, she should want me, she should this, and I'm going to go act out like a child. That's a blindfold that he's put on himself, hoping that you don't see. I don't know, because I love these people and I don't want to share this feeling and this emotion. And a lot of times that blindfold is not the ignorance of what we don't see. It's the ignorance of what people don't see, because we're hiding what we don't know. We're hiding the fact that I don't know what tomorrow will bring. I don't know if I go to work today that I'm going to still have a job when I clock out. So what's the blindfold? This job. Blah, 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 blah. I'm going to go look for another job. It looks real cool. It looks amazing. It looks amazing, amazing, amazing. Because we are able to walk around life blindly, feeling and groping for the next thing. And it looks real cool. And it made me look at the Statue of Liberty with that blindfold. It's not that justice is blind is that we don't know who is controlling that justice behind that vessel, that statue, that spirit, that idea. And because we don't know what is all being put together for that justice, we get so enamored at the fact that, oh, it's blind. It's not going to judge me by the race. Yes, because it's an inanimate object. But what we don't see behind that blindfold is who's wielding that justice. How deep does that justice go in wisdom? Because a lot of times that blindfold that we wear is not because we don't want to see something. We're hoping that you don't see what's in us. We're hoping that you are not consumed by what you don't know, that we don't know, till you begin to judge us. That's why we walk by faith and not by sight. We don't walk by what we see in this world because we are blindfolded. We're not understanding these things. I was wondering, like, Father, why the scales on Saul's eyes? Apostle Paul, why are they on his eyes on this road? That's because the Father needed to show him what he did not know. That blindness, he needed to show him what he did not know. And he came out from that, giving us everything that he was told to give us. Because we are made in his likeness and his image. He that is in us is greater than he that is in the world. He made us in his likeness and his image. It is not I that liveth my life, but it is Christ that liveth through me. We sacrifice this human fleshly body for the resurrected body that begins to be pushed out and perceived and expressed in our actions. That fruit of that spirit, that light that begins to lead us and guide us. Because in all things we're supposed to do is get wisdom. And that wisdom does not need experience. But that wisdom is just there. It's knowing. It's in animating us, our actions, our moves, our motives. However, we always want to enamor at that. Oh, it's so blind. Look at the blindfold. Look at that person. They could do this without seeing it. Yeah, that's cool. But what you don't see is what they don't know. They don't know where they're going. They don't know how to do this. They don't know how to do that. That person who is upset at work, the blindfold is their actions on, I'm going to act out, or I'm going to quit, or I'm going to go do this. That's because that blindfold is making you look within, not without. Because you don't want to find yourself groping through life. So in all you do, get wisdom. Because when you find yourself walking by faith and allowing that blindfold to bring comfort, knowing that the inner being, the inner I am is leading you and guiding you, you're walking in peace. But when you allow yourself to be so focused on what's externally expressed, you don't look within inside of yourself, and now you're double-minded. And you're looking for that justice, and you're looking for those scales to be so balanced in your favor by what is perceived outside of you, instead of looking within yourself. So that blindfold, it's not there so that you look cool, saying, look, I could do this without being able to judge anything. You're not supposed to. But you ought to walk by faith and not by sight, and allow the Father to be your judge, to be the ruler. Because if you look at it, he gives us grace and mercy. 1,000 days with man is one day in the Father. Look at the ultimatum he gave to David. You could either spend it in my judgment, or you could spend it in the world's judgment. I'd rather take the Father's, because he gives judgment with mercy. But when you walk by that faith and not by the sight of the world, you're not being double-minded. So when I see that justice is blind, yes, of course, it's an inanimate object. It is something that is wielded by the person who understands. However, I'm asking yourself, are you blind to what you don't know about you? Are you blind to the fact that you are perceived to be this person who is so in control, when really you really don't know. Whether you know the saying or not, a wise man knows that he knows nothing. However, he is so in tune with that inner being that he's going to find that wise counsel that provides that safety. Because that wisdom is there to help those who don't see and who don't know, and who is willing to admit, Father, I don't know, so I'm seeking your face. Because a lot of times we wear that blindfold, not to trick you into believing that we can just move throughout life without really understanding, because it just seems so cool and so calm and so powerful. No. We're trying to trick you to make you believe, I know so much, that let me just walk through this life, not completely knowing, but it looked good because of the image that I'm portraying. I'm portraying that I'm confident and I'm bold, but what the truth is behind that blindfold, I really don't know. Because a lot of times people wear those blindfolds so that they can be so outward expressed by what you say and not by expressed from what is internal and what they say. But that happens when you really don't know who you are and you don't know who your source is and who you're tapped into. So yes, that justice is blind because it's only willed by the all-knowing that's within you. And when you feel like you know, you make your own judgment calls. But when you allow the Father to come forth, he'll use the foolish things to confound the wise. Because we are wise in our own eyes. But when we look at that Father, we know that it is he that liveth our lives and not us. So that blindfold, a lot of times, that behavior of I know and let me go judge this person and throw them under the bus, it don't have nothing to do with that person. It's just a simple fact that within them, what they don't know is how to deal with that fear. What they don't know is how to deal with that pain. What they don't know is how to voice it, how to communicate it. What they don't know is how to be vulnerable. What they don't know is how to allow what they put out there in the world to be what you judge them by, what you see them by, versus being thrown from here to there like the tumbleweed with the expression and the impression of who they should be. Because when you see that person with that blindfold, that persona, they really don't know. They're just hoping that you don't find out. And that makes them unstable. So that's just my thought with that. And the God in me salutes the God in you. God bless. Stay safe. Peace.